Yes. All right. So this is a little strange, and I think we are live. Um, so hopefully everybody can hear me. We had a little bit of technical difficulty trying to get I was hoping to share kind of a PowerPoint, and we had some technical difficulties, so I'm not going to be able to share and walk you through registration, but hopefully I'll be able to share some things, and if anybody has questions, that'll probably be the main format that we'll do things, is just ask questions about registration or senior year or anything else in the chat, and I will try to answer those verbally through the video. And then if there are any links that we need to put up or anything like that, I'll put those up. So I'll kind of hang out for a sec, and then if people have questions, there's the Q&A where you can put those, and me and Mr. Killian, the 11th grade principal, are both on here, so we'll try to answer those as they come in. So the first question we've got is, does physical world concepts count as the third lab science requirement? Yes. If a student's taken physical world concepts as a freshman, that would count as their third lab science. And then biology would count for the biology requirement, and chemistry would count for the chemistry requirement. So those three together would complete their 3 lab sciences that are required for graduation. Can I take online classes? Trying to figure out the angle of that. So if students are, like in the past with the COVID year, students had the option to do virtual classes. There were some classes that were virtual, and you could kind of fluctuate back and forth between taking classes virtually and taking them in person. That is no longer the case. So students can take, if they wanted to do virtual school, they would have to go full-time virtual school, and they would actually be transferred and withdrawn from Farragut and enrolled at the Knox County Virtual High School. If a student is recovering a credit or there's a unique circumstance, then Edgenuity is a program that we have at the school where kids can earn credits online, but it is very limited circumstances, and kids are still required to come to school to take those Edgenuity courses. So there's a question, how does the community service mandatory hours work? Do they have to look for an organization, or is it done through school? So there's not, in terms of graduation, there's not a community service hour requirement. So there's not a requirement that students have to meet in order to graduate. There are some clubs and some organizations that require a certain number of community service hours each year. But a lot of those clubs, like SGA, the Student Government Association, has some community service requirements, and they have relationships with different organizations that help them give their students opportunities. So you could, if you were in one of those clubs and needed community service hours, I think the best person to talk to would be the sponsor of the club, and they could put you in touch with an organization that's seeking volunteers. And then most students will keep like a log of their hours, where they did them, who they did it through, and sometimes they'll even have signatures of the supervisor who supervised them while they did those hours, so that they can list those whenever they're applying for colleges or jobs or different things like that. So another question, have the graduation requirements been reviewed with the student to make sure they're on track? Should they meet one-on-one for this if they're unsure about it? We've been going around to classes. So we've been in English and social studies classes. So we've been to every English and social studies class for the last 2 semesters. So the kids should have seen us at some point. And they have been given copies of their transcript and been given a graduation checklist where they see all the graduation requirements and what they need to fulfill. So we've actually walked through the graduation requirements and had them check off what they have and haven't completed over the past month or so. So they should have had the opportunity to do that. If they haven't, they're welcome to stop by the counseling office and set up a meeting with me where we can walk through it and make sure that as they're registering, they're choosing classes that they're fulfilling their graduation requirements with the classes that they choose. But I've got a checklist for every student. So I keep a checklist every semester for every student, what they have and haven't completed up to this point. And I've got a list of kids who maybe have something that they should have by now that they haven't completed, and I'll be sending for them after spring break to make sure that we're getting that put on their schedule for next year. So hopefully we'll be able to take care of that in a number of ways, but if they're unsure and they'd like to stop by, just have them stop by the counseling office and set up a meeting with me. Next question, if I plan to take year-long Spanish 4/AP Spanish, do I need to select both classes as 2 electives? Yes. That will take up 2 classes on your schedule, and without both of them, I don't know, like if you just chose Honors Spanish 4, I might only put you in Honors Spanish 4 because I didn't know you wanted to continue beyond that. So it looks like there are a couple questions about dual enrollment. So dual enrollment is a program where you can take college classes through a few different institutions and earn college credit while still in high school. The qualifications can differ for each school. By far, the most common school that Farragut students take dual enrollment classes through is Pellissippi. And as seniors, a lot of students will take dual enrollment English, and they'll take dual enrollment English 1010, which is like English 101. They will take that. A lot of them will take that in the fall and then take English 1020 in the spring. And for almost every school, I shouldn't say almost every school, most schools in state that will fulfill their freshman year English requirement if they were to go to a 4-year school in the state of Tennessee. What are the qualifications? So it can differ by school, but at Pellissippi, if you have an ACT score and you have an 18 in English and a 19 in reading, then you also need a 3.0 unweighted GPA. If you don't have that qualifying ACT score or just don't have an ACT score on file, then you need a 3.6 unweighted GPA. And that will allow the state of Tennessee to pay for those classes, and the state will pay for up to 4 classes completely as long as they continue to maintain a 2.7 GPA at the college that they're taking classes from. There is, so I put a link, I can put a link up in the chat where you can see a bunch of helpful things. You can see a bunch of helpful links, and one of them is the dual enrollment course catalog, and that will have the classes that are offered through Pellissippi, through Lincoln Memorial, Tennessee College of Applied Technology, and ETSU. So those are different schools that offer dual enrollment programs, and you'll be able to see what all's offered and what all you can enroll in. At Pellissippi, there is usually, I can't say for certain next year, but usually there is one dual enrollment English class, English 1010, offered on campus each semester. And there's usually an English 1020 offered on campus during the spring. And by on campus, I mean on campus at Farragut. And then students can also register for dual enrollment classes on Pellissippi's campus. If they do that, we ask that they register for a class early enough in the morning that they could get to Farragut by the start of second block, and then we would put dual enrollment on their schedule during first block. If they wanted to take it later in the day, we ask that they take the class late enough where they could leave after third block and make it in time to their dual enrollment class, and we would put dual enrollment on their schedule during fourth block. They are also able to take them online, which more and more kids are doing. And if they take them online, it just makes it a little bit easier because we can work around all their other classes and place it on their schedule where is most convenient. I'm trying to think what I'm forgetting about dual enrollment. I feel like I'm forgetting one thing. Oh, so the way we're going to do it this year is the kids there's a dual enrollment intent form, which kids can download off of Aspen, or I'll put the link up in the chat here in a second where you can see that and download it. And if they turn that in to me by next Friday, then they'll check off which school they're planning on taking dual enrollment through. And then after spring break, I will set up group meetings with every kid. Like, let's say Pellissippi, for example, I'll set up a group meeting in the morning before school, probably in the library, with all the kids who said they're planning on taking dual enrollment through Pellissippi. And during that meeting, I'll walk them through everything they need to do to register, to enroll in the school, apply to Pellissippi, apply to the school, apply for the dual enrollment grant, and actually register for classes when they're able to do that. So they will need to apply to the college, but they'll just check off on that sheet, and I will walk them through that once we get to that point after spring break. So in the Q&A, I just put a link to the class of 2023. Well, no, I put the wrong link, I think. Okay. So now in the chat, I just put a link to the class of 2023 registration page on the school's website. This isn't where they'll actually register. I've gone over that with kids, and I sent an email out a few weeks ago to parents. So if you're having trouble, just search my name in your email, and it should have instructions on registering and the deadlines and whatnot. But on this link that we just put, or that I just sent out, there's a bunch of documents that are helpful. So you'll see the course selection sheet, which has every class that's available to seniors next year. These classes on the selection sheet are listed exactly like they are in Aspen when they're registering. So it's supposed to help them find the classes that they want to take easier and be able to request them. There's also a program of studies with course descriptions for every single elective that's offered in the school. It also lists prerequisites. It lists like projects that students could expect to do during the class. Also on the page, there's an academic release form. So if a student disagrees with a teacher's recommendation for a core class, they'll need to fill one of these out and turn it in to me by next Friday, March 11th, in order to change that teacher's recommendation. And then I was talking, I don't know if everybody was in here when I was talking about dual enrollment, but at the bottom of the page, there's the dual enrollment course catalog and the dual enrollment intent form, which the intent form needs to be filled out, and then I'll set up meetings to help them actually register. The course catalog is just for you to see what classes are available and help pick classes. So another question that just came in, can I take summer school classes to fulfill required classes or to retake classes? Yes. So can I take them to retake classes 100%? You can take them. They will be online. It's entirely online. It's on Edgenuity. So the way it typically works is it starts the Tuesday after Memorial Day, and students are asked to come in person for 10 days and work from the library where they're supervised, but they were working online just to get a hang of the software, the program, and kind of make sure that they're making good progress. And then after those 10 days, they're able to finish from home as long as they're making enough progress. Obviously, if being at school is helpful and a better environment, they're welcome to keep coming back, but you can definitely do that to retake classes. And then there are a few classes that you can fulfill during summer school. If you wanted to take, for example, some students will take personal finance over the summer so that they can take AP Macro and AP Micro together. Just kind of something to put out there. Registration closes next Friday, March 11th at 3:30 p.m. So at the end of the school day, registration will close next Friday before everybody leaves for spring break. Students can click post right now in Aspen after they request their classes. They can click post. That is just kind of acknowledging that they've reviewed their selections. If they click post, they can come back and edit and post again. Even if they don't click post, they can everything will be automatically saved. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Everything will automatically be saved in Aspen, and then they can come back, review them, keep working on them. Just whatever's in there by 3:30 p.m. next Friday, March 11th, is what will be used to build their schedule for their senior year. Someone asked, is the summer school class list available now? I don't have it on my hands right now, but I know that I can find it. So if you want to, I'm going to reply to that person and have them email me. And then I can send over a list of what all is available. When will class registration requests that have been posted be approved? It's kind of a process. It's kind of a process because it's the requests are used to determine what classes will be offered and how many sections of each class will be offered, and then the schedule is built. So I can't say that your schedule will be built until sometime over the summer. There's several people asking for a list of summer school classes to be shared publicly. It will take me a while to look that up. But I will try to do so. And it's not a document that I have, it's just a portion of a website, so I'll just copy and paste it. Essentially, the summer school classes that are going to be available are going to be core classes. So there's very, 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 very few electives that are going to be available. And the way I am pasting it in does not look pretty because it's just pasted from this website, but it is pretty much just core classes. And each of these has a different length. So there's an hour or a time associated with each of them. Yes. So one of the questions that just came in is there's no option for calculus AB/BC year-long under the math section in Aspen. Selecting both gives an error message for too many selections. Just select BC. As long as BC is listed in Aspen, then I know that you need AB and BC. And after registration closes, I will go back and add AB on my end of things, and then that will be used to register or to build your schedule. We haven't gotten any new questions in a while. If anybody has any that maybe could benefit the group, or you just need an answer to yourself, feel free to ask them. We'll be hanging around for a little bit longer. So it looks like there are still a few people in attendance. So just let us know if you have any questions. So one of the questions that just came in regards to dual enrollment, is there a way to tell where each class will be held, whether that's virtual, Farragut, or college campus? Yes. And that's one of the things that when we're or after they filled out the intent form and we set up that meeting where where we actually introduce kids to like how to register for each school and how to enroll in classes at each school, we'll show them the difference between what a virtual class looks like when registering, what an in-person class looks like, where to see the different times for in-person classes, that sort of thing. One of the things I should say is that if they wanted to take it on campus at Farragut, they're not going to be able to register themselves. So they would just need to let me know that they're planning on taking that on campus at Farragut. We put them on the roster for the in-person section, send that over to Pellissippi, and then they enroll all the kids at once. For the virtual sections and the sections on campus at Pellissippi, students enroll themselves, and I'll show them how to find the proper class in order to enroll in. So that's just, I know it's kind of a time consuming, or it kind of lingers on for a little while, but it's something that we can't necessarily do right now, but I will show kids how to do that when the time comes. Another question, if you've met graduation requirements in the fall but don't want to graduate early, do you still have to sign up for 8 classes or for the whole year, or can you do 4 classes in the fall and a couple in the spring? You do still have to sign up for 8 classes. The state requires students to be enrolled in 4 classes each semester, and they have to be consecutive during the day. So there can't be a gap in a student's schedule where they have like a free second or a free third block. So the only way that a student would have an empty block during the school day would be if they took a 7 a.m. class. They could have an empty 4th block and leave early because they'd taken 4 consecutive classes from 7 a.m. through 3rd block. But the state does require students who are enrolled in school at a public high school in Tennessee to be enrolled in a full course load. For dual enrollment, there's another question. Will they be able to tell in advance of requesting classes whether they are online or in person? I don't think that Pellissippi's uploaded their, I'm trying to think of the right word, like catalog for the fall semester yet. So there is a very good chance that if it's a fairly standard class, like an English class, it'll be available both in person at Pellissippi and online. So they could, it's very likely that that'll be available in both platforms. And English 1010 and English 1020 will be available at Farragut. But for for requesting those classes, if it's something that's fairly common, like an English or a math class, I would venture to say that it'll be offered both in person and online. And they would be able to know once they enroll on Pellissippi's side, but before completing registration at Farragut, they may not know that information. And then that would be something I would just want them to be in communication with me from the spring through the summer if they need to make any adjustments to their request because something maybe wasn't available in person that they were hoping was available in person. I'd rather them register for it, put down dual enrollment in their notes, and then tell me later that they didn't want it than the other way around. Still got a few people on this meeting, so we'll hang tight for a few more minutes, maybe 3, 4, 5 minutes, and if there are no new questions after that point, we'll probably call it a night. But yeah, we'll hang tight. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask. All right. Haven't had any questions in a little while, so I think we're gonna probably wrap this up. So if anybody does have any questions that they think of later that they didn't get the chance to ask tonight, feel free to send me an email. My email is James, James, .Michael, Michel. So there's no A in Michael at knoxschools.org. James.Michael without the A at knoxschools.org. So hope everybody got their questions answered. And if you need anything, just send me another email. All right. Everybody have a good night.